In the quiet town of Umago, there lived a woman called Ijoma, who was a very respected and skilled midwife. At a young age of 30, her hands had already brought countless babies into the world, and families trusted her without question. But beneath her calm and gentle exterior was a deep-rooted and unresolved grudge she had against someone in the village. Ijoma's mother died while giving birth to her, and her father was the only one who raised her. Her father and Chief Obiora were close friends, but Chief Obiora had always been a tricky man, and she wondered why they were friends. For years, he wanted one of her father's piece of land, which he refused to sell. Chief Obiora got tired of asking him to sell the land and framed her father for stealing so that he could take it. Because the laws of Umago were strict, her father was buried alive for a crime he did not commit, and at 17 years old, she became an orphan. With tears in her eyes and pain in her heart, Ijoma made a vow that she would make Chief Obiora and his family pay for the death of her father. After her father's death, she traveled to the neighboring village and trained so well to become a midwife until she was 20. With revenge still in her mind, she came back to her village and started helping women deliver their babies while looking for opportunities to exert her revenge on Chief Obiora. The opportunity she was looking for came 10 years later when fate brought it to her on a platter of gold. Two women in labor were brought to her at the same time, and she found out that one of the women was Adoma, Chief Obiora's only child, who was married to a wealthy farmer, and the other woman was Nkiru, a poor widow who lost her husband during her pregnancy. Adoma's pregnancy was the only savior of her marriage, which was on the verge of collapse because she had been childless for many years. Her husband wanted to take a second wife, but he changed his mind when she finally took him, and Ijoma decided to take her revenge on Adoma because she was Chief Obiora's child. The two women gave birth to baby boys, but Adoma had a lot of complications which caused her to lose her womb. Ijoma started thinking of ways to punish Adoma now that she could not bear children again, and because she didn't want to kill the child, she decided to give Adoma's child to Nkiru. She then told Adoma that her baby died and she also lost her womb during the delivery, and this news shattered Adoma because she knew that her marriage would finally be over. Ijoma was so happy that she had finally done something to hurt Chief Obiora, but deep down, she wasn't fulfilled yet. Years passed and the boys grew. One of them was named Soma, while the other one was named Tobe. Soma looked so much like his late father and also had some traits of his mother, but Tobe didn't look like any of his parents. Also, there were no physical similarities between the boys, and this made Nkiru have thoughts of Tobe not being her child, but she just let it go because Ijoma the midwife was trustworthy. She decided to accept the differences and train the boys in the best way she could. Adoma, on the other hand, was living in sorrow. She was forced to return back to her father's house after her husband threw her out, and she never stopped mourning the loss of her child. She also had to start taking care of her father, Chief Obiora, who mysteriously became sick until he died. When the boys were 20 years old, something strange happened. They went to the farm as they usually did, but on that day, they saw an old woman in their farm. As they approached and asked her what she was doing there, she told them,
"Seek the truth, repair the damage, and everything will fall in place."
And immediately, she disappeared. The boys, who were shocked, ran home and told their mother what they encountered at the farm, and she assured them that she would look into the matter. She started asking people in the village for explanations, and when no one had a good answer to give her, she decided to see the village chief priest. She explained the situation to the chief priest, and he told her not to worry because very soon, someone would come with the answers she was looking for. Ijoma, who was now 50, had always been troubled after what she did 20 years ago, and she decided to confess so that she would relieve herself of a burden she had carried for so long. She went to see Nkiru and told her that she had something to tell her, and that Tobe, Soma and Adoma needed to be there, so they sent for Adoma. When they were all seated, She started by saying,
Everything I did for revenge. Adoma, your father accused my own father of stealing, and because of that, he was buried alive. And I made a vow that I would pay your family back with evil. The opportunity presented itself to me when you were in labor, and I took it. Your son didn't die because Tobe here is your son. I only stole him and gave to another woman. I'm sorry for causing you pain, but that was the only chance I had for revenge. And to you, Nkiro, I'm so sorry for using you as my tool for revenge. I burdened you with the responsibility of taking care of another child, even when I knew you could barely feed. And finally, Tobe, I'm sorry for separating you from your real family. I've learned that revenge is a fire that consumes the one that carries it. Because throughout the years, I have never had peace of mind. I thought I was right, but I was only blind. Please, you all should find a place in your heart and forgive me.
Everyone was shocked at this revelation, and with tears in Adoma's eyes, she went and hugged her son. Adoma was angry because she missed out on a lot with Tobe, but she was also fulfilled because she would no longer be called a barren woman. She decided to forgive Ijoma because all her actions were caused by her father's wickedness. She also thanked Nkiru for raising her son well. Nkiru and Tobe also forgave Ijoma too, and they all decided to move on. For Tobe, having a new mother was hard to accept since Nkiru was the only mother he had known all his life. But he had to face it because Adoma was his biological mother. He started living with her and inherited all his grandfather's wealth, and with that, he was able to change the lives of Nkiru and Soma. He built a better hut for them and shared his land with Soma because he was still his brother. Also, the land and properties Chief Obiora took from Ijoma's father were given back to her, and everything finally returned to its place. The bond between Tobe and Soma was never broken because they vowed to remain brothers even though they were not related by blood. As for their mothers, they showed Ijoma that she was truly forgiven by becoming close friends with her, and their friendship lasted till death. The moral of this story is that revenge traps you in the past, consumes your soul, and leads to unwanted consequences. Also, forgiveness is not weakness, but strength and freedom.